Leadership is critical in building society, nation, people, just about everything there is. And a part of the reason for the destruction of black societies is because of leadership. What has been happening for years is that our leaders have been co-opted by the structure outside of their society, and they have been warped in believing that the outside society actually favors them, and therefore they have actually acquiesced to what obtains outside and imposed on their people, and therefore that sort of leadership has been creating problem for the black race. For some time, the black race has been looking for a leader, like a Marcus Garvey or like a Sam Sharp or like a Malcolm X, not leaders like Martin Luther, who believes that you should technically turn the other cheek, because that concept is old and dead and is not working for us. And it's clear that us turning the other cheek has actually done us more harm than good. And there's need for a leader who will rise and stand and decide that we will not bow, we will not cry, we will not bend to any form of imperialism, and we will actually do what we want as a people. No, Gaddafi was that intending leader that the black society had wanted and possibly would have made that change if he were alive and the imperialists killed him. For some time, Africa has been looking, waiting, and given that it's the mother ground for the blacks, we've been just waiting for that leader to rise. And it's clear that that leader is now here. And I am saying that there's a need for the new black gods. And I'm saying the new black gods are coming. We need that leadership that we so desperately desire. That leadership that will stand you in the face, decide that we are no longer afraid, and decide that we are equally men like you are, and we are willing to fight and die if needs be to ensure that we protect the legacy and the future of our upcoming generation. That sort of leadership is what the black society need, particularly Africa, who has been raped, plundered for years. And I am saying to you, it's clear that we are going to be seeing the rise of new black gods in Africa. And therefore, that is going to infiltrate other societies around the world where the blacks are for them to rise. I'm hoping that that will ignite something in Jamaica to find us good leaders, because clearly what we have now in terms of the PNP and the JLP are substandard leadership, and that our society is better than those guys that we are seeing. Those persons who have subscribed to all the imperialist doctrine and all the imperialist ways, and in the process destroy the people. We want black leaders who are going to be gods like the imperialist and get us out of this current situation. Listen to this new black leader. Does he make you proud? Does he let you understand that there's a war against the blacks and that this imperialist war must be tackled like a war? Dead in the eye, willingness and bravery of our ancestors, and take on these imperialists. They can destroy us possibly, but we will not quiver. We will not shake. We will not bow to their principles and their ideologies and their gods. But we are gods as they are. And we will be people of value, and we will climb on our ancestors' legacy and stare them in the eyes and let them know we are men just like you are men. Listen to this.
Representing your country in the beautiful nation of Niger. Your role is important. Today, because of the ongoing and devastating war, the imperialistic forces have tried to tear our unified and strong society apart, completely and utterly annihilate us, and make sure that we can never lift our heads again and are forced to submit forever. However, the effect that they are expecting or hoping for will, unfortunately, never come to pass because the required conditions and circumstances simply do not exist. Because instead, this war has come to bond us, unite us, and more than ever, we remain standing. And we tell them that we will never cry and we will never kneel before anyone again, no matter what happens in any situation. This war that has been imposed on us has united us. It is in this war that AES was born. AES will change the history of Africa, will change the history of the world. You
Are
hear
the peoples willing to support this sort of leadership? For years, the blacks have been getting abused, mistreated, belittled, and various concepts and jargons and words have been used to suppress us mentally to the point where we are now slave to our own demise. We need black leaders who are no longer Martin Luther to see anything rising on and are waiting for other person to give us our freedom. But we need to take this freedom back. We need to stare this in the eye. You can only address war with war. You cannot address war with peace and expect to retain sovereignty and explain and expect to get equal share of the spoils when you are the inferior in a war using peace. It is the dominant force in a war that gets the spoils. For years, we have been sitting back, waiting on our oppressors to be our freedom fighters. And that is exactly what is happening to us as a black nation and a black race and a black people. We will continue to be oppressed until we recognize that we have to stand up and fight this good fight and finish the course that our forefathers started when they decide that they were not going to be enslaved by a system because they were free, powerful beings before these oppressors came. We are waiting for too long on the whites to be our freedom fighters. We have waited for too long on the oppressors to free us. We cannot and will never be free unless it is not taken by force. Let's listen to our black brother, because he understands and recognizes the value of a free black man, a free black nation, and that it must be taken by a will and a plan to lead the people to that promised land. And that promised land is taking your freedom from the oppressor, not begging for it, but taking it by force, as they instituted it by force.
are indeed the privileged witnesses of all the harm these people do to our populations. Since July 26th until today, you have experienced the sufferings and hardships inflicted on the Nigerian people in particular, and all the peoples of the US through inhumane sanctions. But it brought us even closer together and helped us understand why we must fight and support each other in this journey. And that's the most important thing. I want to congratulate you, those of you who are not in the country, who are far away. And today, due to social media, which has both positive and negative aspects in our lives in various ways, I can truly imagine how much your suffering must really be to have to imagine what can reality be? What's a lie? You hear all kinds of news. You suffer more than those in the country. But I think that with God's will, this evening we have a few minutes. We will have, in any case, exchange freely on many themes, and also, and especially any grievances you may have, because these are the same realities that we now share with our brothers in Niger. So, be thanked once again, because despite being away from the motherland, you have always indeed significantly contributed, and truly through all of you in the diaspora, to the Patriotic Support Fund. To continue giving a boost to the brave and tirelessly fighting forces who battle day and night and relentlessly on the ground. The entire homeland thanks you for these gestures you make day and night. Appreciation.
It literally saved me hours. And I aced it.
Wow, I have one due this week. Which one are you using?
Quillbot. It's literally made my
When I carefully listened to what you were saying, I came to the realization that you had a complete and thorough understanding of the entire maneuver. There were no complaints, there were no concerns raised. This shows that you truly understand the essence of the struggle. Thank you again. Thank you to those who are
We
spreading.
need black leaders who are steadfast and forthright in what they are going to do and understand that we need to free the blacks, and that if it means war, we have to war. And if it means that we have to die, we have to die if we must. But we will not sit down and throw up arms and wait for a death. We will actually go out as soldiers, as warriors like ours, as our forefathers were, and claim what is rightfully ours. How can we expect your oppressor to be your freer? How can we express your oppressor to love you? How can you expect your oppressor to want better for you? For years, our leaders have actually betrayed us by accepting what our oppressors want and what our oppressors tell them to institute on us. And we have been held as victims, as caged animals to a system that was designed by our oppressors. There's a need for us to decide that we will not bow and we will not cry to the system, but we must understand it and decide to free our people from it. Our people will not and never be free unless our leaders decide to lead with decisiveness and lead with a willingness to show the people where they are going and why we must take back the reins of power from the imperialists or the oppressors. The elites do not and have never wanted us to survive as a people. And there's evidence every day in terms of what they do to destroy us. And all our black leaders have been doing is to be gullible and fooled by the oppressors and institute this oppressive stance on the people. Enough is enough. We need leaders who understand that they are gods and that there's no interfere because our forefathers did it. We can stand on our forefathers as giants and deceive this and destroy this imperial system. We cannot continue to wait for our day in court because the court system is rigged. We have got to take it as though they took the land from us, as though they took our decency, as though they took our pride. There's nowhere that you can negotiate with a man who has a stick over you, and when he has signed for you to be free, would not have instituted policy to make you surrender in peace to his will. I want you to think about it for a minute. If your oppressor has a stick or a gun and he signed a piece of paper for you to be free, the freedom comes with a condition that will support him. We must get our freedom by force. Our freedom cannot and will never be good if it is by peace. Peace and all the constitutions are going to support what the oppressors want. Something we need to understand. For us to get that level of freedom and autonomy that we so deserve, and to restore our pride as a black, powerful nation, we must do that by strategic thinking. And that strategic thinking is going to be including leaders who see us as gods, leaders who have a vision for the people, leaders who are not labeled and tarnished and marred by imperial system, but leaders who recognize and see the pain of their ancestors and see the current pain of their people and decide to fight for freedom and free the people from the enslaver. What you have to say? Clearly, I'm proud that Africa is having individuals who recognize what leadership is, what the freedom of their people is, and who understand the power of their ancestors and see that their people have not been free and that their people are not free and that the imperialist system is an oppressive one and must be got rid of. And this may be done and possibly can only be done by willingness and a force and a desire not to give up, never to cry, never to bow, because they must see themselves as the oppressors. The oppressors see themselves as God, and we are no different than gods. A matter of fact, we started this issue. We started civilization, and we must rid this world of this oppressive imperialist system that has not done anything good for the world. Matter of fact, this imperialist system has done more to destroy this earth than when we were kings and gods. What are your views? I'm going to put the video in the description for you to actually go and watch more of this video, because I am saying to you, Africa needs to arise. The Africans in all of us need to see the game and decide whether we're going to take it or continue to suffer in this imperialist system. We need to think about it. This imperialist system doesn't support any form of freedom for us as a people. In fact, they are pleased when we die. They've instituted many things: famine, vaccination, AIDS, HIV, for only one purpose: to destroy more of us. When are we going to recognize that we are playing a game and must fight it as such? What are your views? Share this video. Like. Let me hear your comments. Do you understand the game? Or are you being played by the game?